first and foremost, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy,
Good.
busy, busy. I just got off work, so I'm a little discombobulated, but I'm trying to get it together.
All right, so I wanted to get with you because we just finished our last week. We finished our 3 day intensive, and I want to get your opinion on it. Like I said, that was my first time doing a 3 day intensive. I used to do all of that in one day, which now I'm thinking like, how did I? Although, people be like, yeah, I get it. I had the foreshadow, like, you get it, you get it. They was they could not have comprehended all of that in one day. Why did they lie to me? Like, what?
Girl, I know they probably left there running out of there. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of information. Nothing against you. You do a really, really, really good job. But it is a lot of information, especially if it's your first time.
Yes.
So for me, like I said, I've dabbled in it, so I've never really was like, oh, I've never submitted a proposal, I've never read a proposal, you know what I mean? All of that stuff. So it was definitely, I would say it's my first run.
Yeah.
It was a lot of information. It was wonderful information. I loved it in the 3 days. I can't imagine it in one. I cannot. Because I left
I'm
here the third day, my head was like,
it was that math part there.
my husband was like, how was it? I was like, I was like, give me a minute. But I was very thankful, and I still am very thankful. My notes, everything. I just, at this point, I need to get myself together. And the end of the month is always bad for me because of work. And I
Mhm.
was just talking to my husband earlier today, and I'm like, I'm frustrated because I'd rather be spending my time doing what I want to do in this, which is this. But unfortunately, I'm caught up at the 9 to 5, and I'm in the busiest time of the month right now. You know what I mean?
Right. So let me just do a little interview with you about the workshop. So when you first got to the workshop, or when you first decided to do it or get your ticket, how did it feel when you purchased your ticket and you was like, okay, now it's real?
It was an amazing feeling. Because of the journey that I've been on up until this point. Like I've been wanting to do this for quite some time, and I just haven't um, actually pushed the button. So the fact
Mhm.
that I did it was a wonderful feeling, and the fact that I found a mentor, that's someone that I wanted to do it with at that moment. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So all of that felt really good. It felt like I was taking the steps towards my future.
Yes, yes. Okay, so on day of when you got all your announcements and your text messages saying, okay, park here or come blah 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 instructions. How did you feel when you woke up that morning on the day of the event?
I felt good. Surprisingly, I wasn't nervous. I usually get really nervous, but I was really comfortable. Maybe because we've had communication. I've watched tons of your content, so I felt like I already knew you.
Yes.
So I felt like I was really prepared, I would say. And like I said, it's been a long time coming. So for me to get to that point and actually make the purchase and be in Dallas, it was like, oh yeah, we in there.
We in there. I love it. Okay, so when you arrived in the room, were you surprised that it was a small room?
I was prepared for it because based on your conversation and how you explain how you like to do training, it was going to be a smaller room, which I was thankful. Um,
Good.
to be seen and to feel seen and to have that intimate setting where you feel like you can absorb the information versus a bigger room where you can easily hide in the back or hide within the
Yeah.
crowd. And with this, I feel like with this commitment here and this something like this, it's good to have that. It's almost like that one on one. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And that's
and that was the point.
exactly what I felt I needed. So it was perfect.
So I'm glad you appreciated that. And no
Mhm.
one, even if I had a bigger crowd, no one still would be able to hide from me because I'm still gonna walk around and be looking for the person who's trying to hide.
Hmm.
You answer this
Hmm.
question.
Right, right.
Okay, so as the workshop was going on, what would you say on day one? We talked, it was a more, I guess, emotional day or whatever.
Hmm.
Day one, what's your recap on day one, or what did you take away from day one?
Day one, I felt it was good. We did talk about the emotions, the fear. We definitely touched on Sam. Um, s- uh, how to search and stuff like that. So I felt really good. The information, um, it was definitely in order. You know what I mean? When you get in there, let's talk about the emotion behind it. Let's talk about what you're experiencing. So day one, just getting in there, touching on bases I felt good. It felt great.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as we move through that and learn how to search on day one or whatever, we ended out a little early.
Mhm.
Usually we end early, and if anybody had to register at SAM.gov, that's when we
Oh,
would
okay.
have that. That's
Right.
why day one was cut short for the
Mhm.
workshop part. We didn't
Mhm.
have anybody need to register, so we just got out early. So that's why
Mhm.
day one felt like, I think you said it felt shorter
Mhm.
because it
Mhm.
was shorter. So
Mhm. Mhm.
okay, so on day two, as we were getting into the nitty gritty and all
Right.
of the good stuff, what was, I guess I would say, was that any point in time you felt that, oh my God, this is a lot, this is too much, or that you felt overwhelmed with all the information that I was giving out?
Um, I would say that we were getting into the nitty gritty, and it was overwhelming in turn, but it wasn't. I say it's overwhelming because maybe because this is the information that I needed. These were the
Mm-hmm.
pieces that I needed, So
Yeah.
to me, it was like first time hearing it, how to search, you know what I mean, for solicitation day versus, you know what I mean, all of that. So I was like, and that was really important to me because obviously I didn't know these things. So that part was kind of overwhelming for me because I was overthinking. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Wanting to get it in and, feeling like this is probably should be the easiest part. And I'm over here overthinking. Um, but I didn't feel rushed. I didn't feel like, the old lady in the room who didn't know what was going on. You know what I mean?
Right.
You were great. You know what I mean? Also, Vasanti was great, very patient. You know what I mean? You want us to understand what's going on. So I felt good asking questions. Sometimes in certain rooms you want to pretend that you got it. I was like, no, not
Yeah.
today. I'm like,
Yeah.
how you know what I mean? So I felt comfortable enough to express when I was like, oh, feeling overwhelmed, or we can
Yeah.
go on that again.
Yeah, and I wouldn't let you move on. I wouldn't move on unless I know
Mm-hmm.
you got it. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? You like, I got it. I got it. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I was making sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So in day one, what was your biggest takeaway?
For day one, I would say I just have my notes right here,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I'm just flipping through them. So my biggest takeaway on day one, that was my biggest takeaway. When we talked about when you were telling us it's not technical, you can read, you can write, you can communicate, you can use the internet. That's what that just saying that there kind of made it feel feasible. Like if you could touch it, of course, I'm like, I got that all in the bag. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that was a good takeaway for me to just look at it from that point.
Yeah.
So no matter what was coming at me, I'm like, you got it, because these are the basics. You know what I mean? You
Right.
can read, you can write, you can articulate, and stuff like that. So that was a huge takeaway, and also,
I
I
mean,
would say that's my big takeaway.
okay. I said day one. We talking about day two. I meant day two.
Okay,
But yeah, we talking
okay,
about
yeah,
day
okay.
two.
So
Yeah,
day
yeah,
two, day
yeah,
two was where we got into the nitty
yeah,
gritty.
yeah. That's what I meant. Day two. Day two.
Okay.
That was your biggest takeaway on day two.
Okay. Right. Okay. We on day one or we on day two?
No, okay, so I meant day two. What was your? Because we already talked about day one. I meant what's
Yeah.
your biggest takeaway on
Okay.
day
Well,
two?
we kind of talked about that. Okay. So my biggest takeaway on day two, I feel like day two is when we really got into Sam.
It is.
So my biggest takeaway on day two was my filters.
Your filters, my
My
special
filters.
filtering method, and you got
Yes,
you. It's clicking the
it
publish,
is.
it's clicking
Yes.
now. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay. And then on day three, the final part of like continuing and making phone. Okay, well let me go back. So making phone calls, we did a exercise of we actually called you guys pick the solicitations that you want to work on, and the reason why I do that is because I don't want I want you to go through the process. Like I could have had a solicitation for you work on and
Yeah.
blah blah blah, but I wanted you to go like
Hmm.
it's in real time, so you can
Yeah.
see this being done in real time. So you
And I
guys
felt
got to
that.
pick, yeah, you got to pick your own solicitations and make your own phone calls. How did the phone calls feel? Because we did an exercise. I think it was on day one. Yeah, we did an exercise on day one. How like I had you pretend like you was somebody and pretend you somebody, and then I jumped in giving you guys like things that you might encounter and how you handle it. I think you hung up on somebody. You
Completely.
hung up on somebody, the other person put somebody on
Right,
hold.
right, right.
So how did you feel on day two when you were actually calling people and talking to people about it? Because I had my little thing that I'm going to continue doing, writing questions that I
Right.
think you should be asking. So how did you feel about that?
Surprisingly, it felt natural.
Good.
Um,
You
yeah,
guys were natural.
yes, it felt natural. It felt it did feel really natural. Now, when they start asking you questions or asking me questions, obviously questions that I did not know the answer to, like, do you work for the government? What's really going on with this? And I just didn't know how far left or right. I really didn't know. I don't know what's, you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
that part is kind of like, but it was easy to kind of work around. And thankfully, you were there to assist. And our practice calls prior also gave some insight on what, you know what I mean, what you should say. But it felt really good. It felt natural. Um, Surprising you think going in that you would be nervous, but I wasn't. And also too, I think it being in a smaller room too also helps, you know what I mean, because you got everybody listening to you, so
Right.
that can also play into a little bit of, a little bit of nerves or whatever. But
Yeah,
it was it
you
wasn't
did
bad.
real good. You both of you sound very natural. Did some minor corrections or
Right.
whatever, but very natural. A lot of people are like nervous. Some people are nervous. That be the nervous part of the whole situation is calling subcontractors because
Mm-hmm.
once again it's not for you. So that's why I would
Mm-hmm.
say make it seem like it's for you so that you can talk in a regular manner as if
Mm-hmm.
you're requesting the job. And I think y'all did an amazing job with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really good. Okay, so on day three, we got into what type of bidder you want to be, the pricing part, which was it's always confusing. It's confusing to me a lot of the times, and I gotta pull back and be like, wait, hold on, let me check. Pricing and then preparing the proposal and submitting. What was your biggest takeaway on day three?
I was gonna say, did we do smarts on day 2 or 3?
We did smarts on two.
Okay, well that was a huge takeaway too.
Oh, the smarts.
Smarts, yes, smarts. I'm gonna have to blow that thing up and put it on my wall.
Yeah, big old smarts
Girl,
cabin.
I'm gonna have my kids talk about smarts.
Good, because they'll quiz you, Mama. What's M?
Yes, yes. I'm gonna be like, look, we're gonna have to get it together. But yeah, that was also a very, very huge takeaway. I was in my head juggling, was that what day 1 or 2 or 3? But I would say ultimately, if I could go back
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and reach back to talk about smarts, now that
Yeah,
was a very huge takeaway.
smarts.
Smarts, yes,
Yes,
with the S.
with the S.
Very big takeaway, and I appreciate that breakdown because it just makes it that much more easier. It makes it that much more simpler
Mm-hmm.
to process the information. Because when you open up something and you got 76 pages, you're just overwhelmed right then and there. So if
There
you
you
know
go.
exactly what you need to look for within this stuff, and you could search it, in the different links, they have it spread out. They make it easy for you in some certain,
Mm-hmm.
solicitations. They don't want it to be that difficult, I can assume. So just knowing what you're looking for in order to get that information back from that contractor is A1. And also too, the formatting, how you location, what do you know what I mean? All of that really helped because I just didn't know how to deliver that information. That was one
Yeah.
question I had in my head, like what am I gonna how?
How
You
am
know
I
what I
gonna
mean?
write it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like how am I gonna make this easy and simple? And I definitely understand because I work with vendors, I've done it all in the past. You gotta, like you said, dumb it down,
Dumb it
break it
down.
down.
That's
Yeah.
all.
So just having that visual in my head, it just tells me everything I need to know.
Good. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad smart because one of the biggest things, the most important things in our part of the submitting process is breaking down the scope of work. And I get people all the time, well, what am I supposed to write? How am I supposed to send it? Like, what should I say? And that's why I created Smarts, because there are only certain things people need to know to get a quote. They don't need to know all that other stuff. And you got people sending an entire 76 pages to somebody and no one's about to read that. So you have to break it down. So Smarts is my way of having you guys understand what is needed at a glance.
At what point in your journey did you realize that you needed to come up with something like this? Or at what point, did you realize that you needed to come up with something like this? Yeah.
Well, I think honestly, because of the type of person I am, like my contract organizer, I created that when I first started doing this. I am always in organizational mode. I'm like, I need this, I need extra. So honestly, I think once I realized what the subcontractor needed, when I started making phone calls in the beginning, I created it right away. Now, I didn't have the SMART written out to give to somebody like that, but I had it already in here, and I was like, I need to put this. When I decided to start doing workshops, I was like, let me create something for the thing that I'm already doing. Let me create a methodology for it. So I think I kind of already had it in my head, because I was like, okay, this is only what they need to know. Because I would find myself trying to be all corporate, and then making myself seem like I work for the government, and I don't. And then that would trip me up, and I start stuttering, and they like,
exactly.
I think I'm good. And then I sound like a fake, or whatever. So yeah, I think I've been had. I think it just came naturally to me. So. But okay, so day 3, now going back to day 3, what did you do on the third day that most people dream of doing or say they're going to do, but they never do? What did you actually do on the third day?
Submit a proposal.
Yes, you submitted a proposal. What type of workshop do you go to where you actually submit a proposal that you possibly could win, but you actually submit it? How did that feel?
It felt amazing. You know what I mean? At the end of the workshop, to be able to submit an actual proposal within the workshop and actually complete the full cycle of a government, you know what I mean, being a government contractor, it felt really good. It felt like something that I know for sure that I can continue to do. Awesome. It doesn't seem as far away as it did prior to coming in.
That's right, because that is the goal of the workshop. Everybody submits a proposal, no matter what. You're going to submit a proposal. And if you guys would have gotten the other quotes, you might have submitted too, which you still can do. So you still got one in the chamber. Okay, so on the day 3, we talked about being a type of bidders, and y'all know the different type of bidders. What type of bidder did you say you wanted to be?
I want to bid to win.
Bid to win, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because, which means you may get lower payouts or you may get higher payouts, but you just want to develop a record of contracts. And that's always good. Definitely, because then you can use your own past performance, which will be your prior contracts. So that's really, really good. Okay, so that was day 3. We after you submitted, overall, after the 3 days, what is your biggest takeaway? Now that you've done your commitment to yourself, you just did your email to your future self 6 months from now. You got the system, you got, the calling process, you know how to break down a proposal, and everything that you've learned over the 3 days. What is your biggest in the combination of all 3 biggest takeaway?
Well, what I feel just leaving there is that I can do it, that I'm prepared.
Yeah.
That you provided me with everything that I need to be successful. I don't need to look at another video. I don't need
that's right.
No more information.
Exactly.
I have everything that I need to be successful. And I always say having the resources that you need to be successful will set you up for success.
Yeah.
And I feel like this point, I don't need anything else. I mean, I have a contract organizer, I have all my notes, I have what I need, and that feels good.
Awesome.
I feel
So,
prepared.
so you walked away with feeling like you can go on and fly, little birdie. You don't need nothing. Like my workshop gave you everything you needed
Everything.
to succeed and
Oh yeah,
continue on.
100%.
Awesome. Well, thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much. I really appreciate that. And then lastly, would you recommend this workshop to other people?
100%. I would tell them just be prepared. You're gonna come out of there with everything that you need. You know what I mean? Take your notes. Um, be prepared to come out of there and get ready to get it done because there's nothing else for you to there's nothing else for you to do or need. You know what I mean?
Right.
Besides apply what you were taught in the
Awesome.
workshop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Read every document, broke down every page. This ain't luck, this is training we're earning.